Talking Toffee is proudly in association with www.efcfeelingblue.com. Hello and welcome to Talking Toffee. You already know by now this is one of the only places on YouTube for Evertonians to get together and discuss all things Everton, and we've got a lot to talk about because on Saturday Everton were beaten 3-0 at home in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup against Wigan Athletic in possibly one of the worst performances over the last 10 years. Definitely one of the worst performances since the Walter Smith reign in the 90s, for me personally anyway. A lot of disappointment, a lot of negativity surrounding the club at the moment, and there's a lot of questions that need to be asked. But I decided that two Evertonians ranting are probably better than one in this situation, so I caught up with Mark from EFCFeelingBlue.com, the site that's linked to Talking Toffee today, to discuss the matters surrounding our football club. If you do work for Everton and you're watching this, is there any chance that you can reimburse myself and the other 40,000 other Evertonians that had to witness a performance that lacked desire, creativity, want and passion yesterday? I know it's a long shot, but you know, we live in hope. If you don't work for Everton and you're just watching this video because you want to see what's said, I suggest you put the kettle on, because the next half an hour, 45 minutes, myself and Mark from EFC Feeling Blue are going to be breaking down the happenings and the proceedings of yesterday. So sit back, relax and enjoy the interview. No rules apply. Share, like, subscribe. Come on, you Blues. It's time for a post-mortem into the game yesterday. Everton went down 3-0 at home to Wigan Athletic, and I'm joined by Mark from EFCFeelingBlue.com. Mark, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Hello. I'm not too bad. I'm a bit better than last night, but I'm still in a state of shock after watching that yesterday.
Yeah, and as I think probably the majority of Evertonians up and down the country are, whether you went to the game, whether you watched it on the TV, whether you've just seen highlights, you know, it's a bit of a shocking result. But we've had 24 hours now to have a think about a few things. But as you know, a staunch Evertonian as you are, obviously you put together EFCFeelingBlue.com. Everton take up a lot of your time. How does this rank in comparison to other disappointing Everton days?
Well, in recent times, it's up there with one of the worst low points. I think because the way the form's actually changed lately, it shouldn't really surprise me. But yeah, it does. I rank it quite high with one of the lowest points I've felt in recent years. And I think back to the likes of the Reading defeat in the Cup when we beat Chelsea, that is the high of that, and then losing to Reading the following round. And, you know, we've got through all the away games in this year's competition, and part of me thinks it would have been better if we had an away draw now against Wigan. But as it was, they came and turned us over, and it does rank up there with one of the most disappointing games and moments I've felt in a while.
Definitely. I mean, when I think about it, I think about the Liverpool game last season going down to Wembley. That was a massive disappointment. But there is an element of that, and it is sad, that we've fallen into this frame of mind, although some of us have. You know, you always kind of expect to be beaten by Liverpool. That's really sad that I've said that, and probably people won't be very happy that I have said that. But as an Evertonian, you know, someone who was born in the late 80s, only really became aware of Everton in the early 90s, you know, we haven't really had that many shouts over them. So that was kind of expected. I think the thing of yesterday is that although you say, yeah, the form did change and it had turned, and we were kind of, you know, we beat Oldham at home and then we'd gone and beat Reading, I think as well, this has been coming, hasn't it, this season? Would you agree with that?
It's like been building up to it. I mean, the signs were there for me the other month when the defending at Man United. I was disappointed. I felt like I was the only one who was disappointed not to get anything from the game, because I went into that Man United game thinking, you know, this is the way we've been playing this season. You know, I expect Everton to get something from it, or at least get themselves on the score sheet. But as it was just like a routine 2-0 win in the end for United. Yeah. And I thought to myself, oh well, you know, another defeat at United, that's it, the headline. But then on to the following week, I think it was Oldham before we played Norwich, and then although we didn't do too bad at Oldham, and then conceding that goal in the last minute. Yeah. Was it disappointing? You did sort of think we were building up to something. Obviously, the Norwich defeat, that was shocking. I think that was one of the season from Everton. So probably, yeah, we were building up to something like this, and you know, people will point the finger at the Moyes contract situation, like we discussed last time, and things with that announcement, with not signing anyone in January. It does feel like it's been building up to it, and now you can't help but think, oh, there's not left to play for.
Yeah, no, I get that feeling as well. Although we are, still sixth in the league, and fourth is probably a little bit out of reach at the moment. It's not completely mathematically out of our reach, so to speak. So, yeah, I just want to quickly talk about the atmosphere in the ground yesterday. So, when the first went in, obviously, naturally, you've got your negative people around you who start to get onto the team. But them goals came in quick succession. So it was 1, 2, 3, and it was within the space of 3 minutes, I think. I think that officially it was in the space of 3 minutes of play. So that happened quite quickly, and the atmosphere turned very, very toxic, and a lot of it was aimed towards Mr. David Moyes. How much has he? How much of this has he heaped on himself a little bit with his comments recently, not committing to the club? Has he made himself now a little bit of a target for this stuff? Because naturally, I think Everton fans feel like Everton's his second option now, and he's keeping his first option open for someone else, and they hope that they'll come in and obviously bring him in as manager. So do you agree with that statement? Would you agree that he's brought a little bit of this on himself?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as discussed previously, I think he's got a right to say, well, I'm going to wait and I'm going to measure things at the end of the season. Because he has been there such a length of time, he's earned that right, I think, to wait. But obviously, Evertonians are going to want someone to blame, and the reason, like a lot of people will bring up, is saying, well, that uncertainty is costing us points on the pitch, and it's cost us a place at Wembley on the pitch. You know what I mean? They'll use that, and they'll look at that and think, well, hang on, that surely we can't be helping the players. So that's the reason why we've dipped in form. People are, he shouldn't be surprised that people will bring that up, and he shouldn't be surprised if people blame, his comments and things for blaming our dip in form. It comes with the territory, doesn't it? He's the manager of the club. He's got to take the flak. I mean, the first half of the season, Everton was hunky-dory, wasn't it? You thought, we're doing great, Moyes this, Moyes that, but now, no purchases in the transfer window, whether that's down to Moyes or the board, that's another debate for another time, but that, his comments about the contract, the dip in form, it's all snowballed, hasn't it, since Christmas, really? Definitely.
And what did he do wrong yesterday with regards to selection and tactics? Exactly.
Well, where do we start? I mean,
it is one of those questions, isn't it? Where do we start with this yesterday? Obviously, a lot of people are mentioning the fact that Phil Neville started in the middle, but what's your take on it?
Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't think Phil Neville should play for Everton again. I know he can be useful, and I've written things about him in the past, how he's a great professional and things, and I know he could probably do a job in the cup games or whatever. He's because of his ability to play in different positions, then Moyes is going to keep him around. But putting him in central midfield in a Premier League game or an FA Cup quarter-final, it's not going to work out anymore. And yesterday, I think I put something on Twitter, like it's like a Sunday League performance. It was like an half fella playing in Sunday League game with a load of younger lads.
Defo, yeah.
He looked way out of depth. So there was numerous things yesterday with Moyes' selections. Okay, he hasn't got the biggest squad. He hasn't got an awful lot of wealth of players to use, but the ones that he does yesterday, it was confusing. Neville and Osman central midfield was just shocking. Osman was the same again. He's been great and all that, and I'm not saying like he should never play for Everton again, obviously, but Osman looked out of his depth. In fact, I mean, I know he scored at Norwich, but if you think back weeks before then, his form had dipped, Osman. You could argue and say, well, since he's played for England, possibly.
Yeah, I'd agree, definitely. Since he's played for England, the foot has dropped. He looks like a different player now.
Has he become a bit complacent? I don't know. I know Ozzy can be quality on his day, and he's weighed in with goals, but yesterday, him and Neville out of the depth, even the reliable players like Baines and Pienaar, they just couldn't put two passes together. It looked like a shadow of the team that we knew first half of the season. But yeah, so those two decisions in central midfield from Moyes. Also, I learned that I don't think Gibson was injured, was he? He was on the bench, and I mean, if he was fit enough to come on, then why wouldn't he start? I just didn't get that decision because Gibson. It just proves, I think, how important Darren Gibson is to Everton.
I agree. I mean, before the game, we were in the bookies. Me and my mate were, and we were chatting to this fella there, and we see the team. I think you sent the team sheet through to us. And I got it, and I said, "Oh, Gibson's not starting, so it looks like Neville's in the middle." And the fella next to me said, "Well, that's understandable because Gibson's got an injury at the moment, or he's got that need where he needs to go in for an operation, not an injury as such that was keeping him out. It was one of them things where, well, we'll try and just shadow him a little bit because he has got this, he's got this need for this operation, but then." So saying that, and I accept that, and he has got. I think it's a bad thigh, isn't it? He's got something wrong with his thigh, and he needs to have an op on that.
Yeah.
But he was still okay to play. What did he play in the end? 30 odd minutes. So
it was about half an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also, what's wrong with the likes of Thomas Hitzlsperger? I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him this year. I think he started 4 games in total, but. You wonder whether he would be more effective than the likes of Neville, and yeah, very, very bizarre there. A good ball from Neville for that second goal, may I add. That was a quality little ball through, to be fair, just the wrong side of the pitch.
There is other options. I mean, second half, he's bringing Barkley and Gibson on, but Gibson's not going to come on and change the game.
Exactly.
He needs to be on, so even if you get an hour out of him, if he's fit enough to play an hour, then we may have had our noses in front, and then you can try and win the game. But bringing him on, Gibson's not a game changer.
No,
he does an excellent job in the midfield. So, but before he came on, it was too late.
Yeah.
It was just too late. I mean, the 3 goals in 3 minutes can kill any game at any time. But that was too. I think to myself, Hitzlsperger, yeah, he's a bit of an old timer. Well, if you're signing him till the end of the season, give him a game ahead of the likes of Phil Neville. He's got a bit more about him. We all know Hitzlsperger can, he can crack a goal in when he wants to and stuff. And when he's played for Everton, he hasn't done too bad. I know he's not a glamour player or anything, but you think in the cup, give him a game then. Even at the back, Heitinger and Distan, one of my favourite players. He's a great athlete, but he's not been good enough, and he wasn't good enough yesterday. He had an absolute nightmare in the first half. Heitinger as well. I mean, I've told you my thoughts on him previously. They just lack. So it's like, well, why don't you throw Duffy in? Duffy captained as the Islands under 21s, didn't he? He's got a bit about him, Shane Duffy. But it's like, when's he ever going to get his chance?
No.
I think he's just coasting towards a move. This time, he's given him an extra year on his contract, but he was just not good enough yesterday. But I'd say that the team as a whole was not good enough. But Moyes could have done different things, Annie Chavy, he was coming back from injury, fair enough, he may not be fit enough to start, but it was confusing. When I saw the team, I thought, yeah, okay, maybe I've got to wrap Darren Gibson in cotton wool. But if he's fit enough to come on for half an hour, maybe if we could just play them for the first half and not capitulated in the central midfield. But he's played our 2 most lightweight players in central midfield, and it's not to say Wigan are very physical or anything, but we all know they play football. Their midfield, like Sean Maloney, that Gomez and that yesterday, they just outclassed Everton.
Definitely.
And Osman and Neville were chasing shadows.
Sean Maloney, I couldn't believe the play there, especially in the first half. He was terrific. But again, I don't know whether we were, making these players look better than they were. That old football cliche, but they were outstanding. As you said, they bossed it in the middle, and it was quite evident that Osman and Neville were really well out of their depth. It was quite early. It was quite evident early on. As I said, I've watched the bulk of the first half again this morning. Again, I don't know why I did that to myself, but I felt the need to, just to get a different kind of view on things. And they were overrun. And it's really, and again, just this whole selection thing. So, on Twitter last night, Stan Collymore was tweeting saying how shocked he was that Evertonians were coming on and saying Moyes out. Now, I don't particularly follow that train of thought, that I want David Moyes to walk tomorrow, or, there is a whole... This is a very complex issue. Football fans sometimes aren't very good at looking at the big picture. This is very complex in the sense that he hasn't had a decent amount of backing during his time here. He's got a very small squad, but you can't deny when a manager makes mistakes tactically, they have to take responsibility for that. It's regardless... When Alex Ferguson makes mistakes tactically, he still has to take responsibility. You can't just say, well, I've been here for this long, I've won this and that, so you can't dig me out for that. And yesterday, people were running on emotion. So Stan Collymore was retweeting these tweets from Evertonians, basically, and I thought to myself, you're making us all look like we all follow that train of thought, really. He wasn't, and people are running on emotion, and I don't think people were really thinking it through. I don't know, but so what is your thoughts on Moyes now? I know we covered this in depth in the last interview, but I mean, he made a few mistakes tactically yesterday. Is he really? Is he really the man to take us forward? Would you like to see him leave now, Mark?
No, because I've said to you in the last vlog, I said, I'd love Moyes to stay, but I can see why fans are going to say that, though, because they're like, well, he's not giving us an answer. He's humming and hawing over a new deal. We've just gone out the cup. We've dipped in form. We look like the season's fallen away. I want rid. Some people may just say it, they feel that's their true feelings on things. Again, heat of the moment. I always have my say on Twitter and things, and I write things down. But no, I don't want Moyes to see Moyes go, but I'm just questioning some of his moves at the moment. I'm thinking, come on, you're not helping yourself here.
No.
You've got these players, but you're not. He's been a master of getting the best out of what he's got in front of him. But at the moment, he's just tactically and where he's positionally, where he's playing certain players, it just leaves you scratching your head. And then you think to yourself, well, why is he doing that, or why is he doing this? I'm not surprised. People want him to go, and they think, well, maybe even before he stalled on a new deal, or he said he's putting it off to the end of the season, found the same like a decade, no trophies and stuff like that. For me, I'm desperate to win something, because, as I say, I'm of that age where with like yourself, it's 18 years, isn't it, since you won the FA Cup? I was a young lad back then. I'm desperate to win something. I'm desperate for myself to experience it, and like the club needs it. And I thought really they could give it a good go this season. I thought early on when we played Cheltenham, he's playing a very strong team. I think he's going to have a go this year. We won 5-1. Bolton wasn't as easy, but we still scraped through. And I was thinking, come on, we've got the momentum. Let's give it a good go. But again, we've blown it. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think we're going to. The season could fall away. We could just coast now and finish 6th or 7th as we did last season, and that's it. And then it'll come to the end, and Moyes will go. But that's not to say I want him to go, because I love the fella, but at the moment I can't help but scratch my head at some of the decisions he's making. Yeah,
the mentality that I think that I get the most annoyed with when I read Twitter. It's that if you question the status quo, and I don't. I include Moyes in that a little bit with regards to the people who run the club. So if you question the moves of Ken right down the years, you're automatically hit with a stick that you shouldn't, because he's an Evertonian, and you're less of a supporter than someone else if you question these things. And it's the same with this. So it's almost like people have this notion, especially on the outskirts of the club and some section of our supporters, that you can't question David Moyes because of the job that he's done previously. You can't dig him out for his tactics. You can't say, I don't agree with that. I don't see why. At least explain to us. It'd be great to get an explanation. If he came out yesterday, and I know football managers probably don't do this, so maybe it's something they should do a little bit more. Come out and tell us why you decided to play Phil Neville there. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't watched the full post-match interview. He could have given a reason why he did that. I know he said that he didn't drop Gibson because of the injury now, so he's given us an explanation for that. But it's this lack of transparency. Why don't you play Barkley? Why doesn't people ask him? Why the Echo? I mean, I don't live in Liverpool, so I don't read the only time I read the Echo is online. Every now and again I look at an article, but I don't get it through me door every day, so I don't get to see what's being written exactly. But there's this notion that the Echo doesn't really report and doesn't ask the questions that the supporters want asking. Why aren't people, representatives of the press, actually asking him these serious questions the same way as why aren't they asking Bill Kenwright the real questions that we want answering as supporters? And we've got a right to ask those questions. You can't just say, oh yeah, I've done a fantastic job, so don't question me on my tactics. It doesn't work like that. We want to know why certain things happen if we can't see a reason as to why they did happen. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, totally. And I think there's certain, sections in the media, the local press, not naming names, some of them can come across as voices for the club. That's the idea why we set up this site. That's the idea why I started writing in the first place, to get down my opinions, but also, these things do need to be questioned. I'm a Moyes fan. I don't openly oppose Ken Wright, but I don't agree with some of the things that have gone on or going on at the club.
Yeah.
But, because I'm a good Moyes fan, doesn't mean I can't question him. The club as a whole, they can't be... there's no ring of steel. They can't be seen over the ring of steel because Ken Wright says, I'm a great Evertonian. Moyes has been there for a decade. It doesn't mean that we can't question them. It doesn't mean that we can't criticise them. Because, we'll do it to a player, don't we? If they miss a sitter, we'll slate them or we'll slate whoever. These people, because they've been at the club and they're passionate and they call like Ken Wright, he says Evertonian and that he's the best club, the interest of the best interest of the club heart, etc. It doesn't mean that we can't. Why didn't we go out and build on our first half of the season performance and sign someone in January? Why doesn't Moyes come out and say, well, hang on, we didn't really sign anyone because I don't know whether I'm going to be here next season to have that player under it. Why didn't Ken Wright come out and say, well, we didn't buy this, we had money for them? There's nothing, is there? You get what you give them. You get what you give them with Everton, and you're met with like a wall of, I don't know, nothing.
Hostility from your fellow supporters if you do question these things. We've all had it. Mark. You write these articles of you switched on. You look at things rationally. You're just analysing. You just basically we all want the best for Everton Football Club, and asking questions isn't the wrong thing to do. You want answers, most definitely. So you are allowed to question these things, and rightly so. Just talking there quickly on, questioning. If a player misses a sitter, we're allowed to break that down, and we do. But also, on the flip side, there was a lot of hostility aimed towards yesterday at the players and the performance that they put in. Now, personally, I realise and I concede that we are dealing with humans here, and humans make mistakes. Okay, humans fuck up. That's natural. That's what we do. That's a trait of us. We all make mistakes. But yesterday, what was evident, and I think that, and we're going to get onto this in a minute, is Fellaini's attitude. And a lot of people are talking about Fellaini's performance, and it wasn't good enough, and granted it wasn't, but that's okay. If he does play the odd stray ball, that's fine. But what we want you to see is breaking a bollock to get that ball back. Not throwing your arms up in the air every time you lose the ball. And this thing, my mate was sitting down in the Bullens. I think that's where he had a little tantrum with the lad sitting down there. He said, you come on the pitch and do it. I think it was over that side of the pitch anyway. And that kind of attitude stinks. Like, those lads pay a lot of money to go and watch Everton. They've paid the match ticket there. If he plays a bad ball, that's fine. You can say, oh mate, that ball should have been better. But still, not every ball he plays can be perfect. But it's this whole lack of, I'm just going to give up now. Arms in the air. Bad body language. When someone says to him, listen, chase that, and he says, no, you go and get on and chase it. At the end of the day, Fellaini, we're not getting paid 50 grand a week to chase it. You are, mate. So if I tell you, and I've paid my match ticket, that I want you to go and chase that ball, I'm allowed to tell you that I want you to go and chase that ball because you're being paid a very high sum of money for the privilege to do that. And so this is the thing here yesterday, and the reason why I think that the stick that the players have received is justified is because there was an evident lack of willingness, of desire, and of want to actually go on and win the game. Would you agree with that? I'm not saying we can class all the players in there, but definitely people like Fellaini, and one of the reasons why he's received a bit of a stick because there was that lack of effort. Did you see that, or have I got the wrong end of the stick there?
Yeah, unacceptable from Fellaini. I'll tell you what, if he has an attitude like that again, he's not going to last much longer. I think he's a cert to go anyway. But you can't get by on reputation and think, I've hit 12, 13 goals, I've carried this team, so I can afford to shrug my shoulders and say this and say that. If you have an attitude like that, you're not going to last long with the club because it's not the Everton attitude, it's not the spirit that we've become used to, You can't become complacent. That ball went in the second half, I think it was, when he lost it, and he turned away. You don't do that in football. Sunday League, Premier League, you don't do that in football. You don't just turn away and put your hands in the air, and then when it went straight down the tunnel and all that. I mean, he wasn't the only one on the day. The whole 11 of them, let's be honest, were not good enough. No. And not having the likes of Jags on the pitch, who's a bit of a leader. Well, he's not a bit of a leader, he is a leader, and should be the captain, really. Doesn't help, but yeah, it was awful to see. I think I put something on Twitter. I was ranting all day on Twitter yesterday because I was that angry. I put something on. Our players have got half an eye on their fancy meal at one of the city's nice restaurants because they're not arsed. They just didn't look arsed at all.
No.
I was seething yesterday after the Norwich game. I watched that online actually because I wasn't there. I watched it online, nearly threw the laptop across the room. I thought, do you know what? That's the most angry I've felt at Everton in a while, probably since the semi-final last year. But yesterday, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. We were made to look mugs by a team who were in the relegation zone, and they fight. No disrespect to Wigan, but they fight relegation every year, and they're not a great side, are they? Let's be honest.
No.
We were made to look mugs, and the likes of Fellaini, shrugging his shoulders and that. It's just like it was awful to watch, and as I say, can't afford that to happen again.
No.
Maybe he's thinking, well, I'm going anyway. But if he's got that attitude, we've still got a good chunk of the season left, so.
Yeah. Hey, let's not take anything away from Wigan though. I mean, they were very good yesterday, and they went about the business really well. I think Martino's definitely got the better of Moyes, especially with the way they played, the fluency in the way they played, the way they changed the shape and to suit us when they were off the ball. They were fantastic. So well done to them. I'm over the moon for Dave Whelan, and I'm over the moon for the 6 fans that they brought. Don't travel particularly well, do they, Wigan? But fair play, they're a smaller club, so well done to them there. But with bringing it back round to us, we're 6th in the league. Do you think people are overreacting a little bit?
No, I don't think they're overreacting. They have every right to be pissed off after yesterday. As I've just said, I was one of them. We felt like that. I'm still in shock today from what I've seen. I don't think people are overreacting because Everton looked great, and first half of the season, there's an expectancy level then, but we're not carrying it through. So the season's like roles reversed. We're normally shocking at the start, and then we get better and we build momentum, and then the season finishes, and you're like, I could do with the season going on another 6 months here. But the way it's going now, you're like, it would have been good if the season finished at Christmas, you know what I mean? But I don't think people are overreacting, but as the dust settles, maybe if we can, they need to come out and get a win next Saturday to just get the players, the fans, everyone boosted again. But no, I don't know. It depends. It depends on the next few weeks because we've got the derby coming up as well, and we've got a home game at Stoke. You need to get a few points on the board and try and get us back on. We're on Arsenal's tail as it is, but we've got other sides on our tail now. Liverpool, West Brom, to name a couple. They're winning. Liverpool playing again today. So no, I don't think fans are overreacting, but I think as if Everton can help themselves if they go out and show a good performance next week, and then maybe we can try and kick on from there. But the last few weeks it's just been like, I don't know, it's been very hard to watch, and then you can't help but think that we're going to fall away.
Yeah,
but,
No, I agree with you. Maybe yesterday was like a little bit of a boost in disguise. Maybe that's what they need, to wake up. That is a little bit of another kind of football cliche kind of thing. But it may be what we needed in a bizarre way. I don't think it was. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy we've gone out the cup. Jesus Christ! But I do think that maybe now that we're gonna need a reaction next Saturday against City, definitely.
Well, as we said earlier, it feels like it's been building to it's almost like disappointing building to a horror show like yesterday was. Now, I'm just hoping that as you say, it has an effect on them, and then they think, right, we've got to pull our fingers out. We've got a chance of blowing Everton here. We've already blown the cup. We're not going to do that. Let's not blow 5th or 4th place. I mean, it's a massive challenge catching up with Tottenham, who are doing really well, but I'm just hoping, as you say, it gives them a kick up the arse, and they think, right, that's the biggest low point in a while. Let's kick on now. Let's show the fans what we can do. If not, if they start drawing games and the form doesn't improve, then it'll just fall away. Fans will lose interest. You'll struggle for season tickets again. You get people who go like, I'll renew and stuff, but there's other fans like last season who think, well, they're not going to. There's uncertainty around Moyes. They're not signing any players this season. We've just finished 6th, 7th, or 8th. That's it. I'm not bothered. I'm not going next season. So if this club doesn't show ambition from now to the end of the season, because they didn't show ambition in January, they'd be signing anyone. if you don't show it now, then you'll get fans losing the ambition, the willingness to go and pay the money to watch them.
Of course.
Let's be honest, we all pay a lot of money to go and watch them, so rightfully we've got a choice and we should have our say.
Yeah, and I think that's it. There you go. You've hit the nail on the head. We all pay the money to go and watch them. They want however much it is for a season ticket this year, obviously well over £400. Maybe we should get a little bit more say in how the club's run. And anybody who advocates that and wants that, whether that be the Blue Union or anybody, I'm all for that we get more of a say in the way the football clubs run, because there are big clubs around Europe who also do allow the supporters to have some form of a say of what they want, and that's not an alien thing, So yeah, that we do deserve a little bit more of a say in this whole North Korean style dictatorship that we've got now, where you're not allowed to question anything. Just needs to go. That attitude needs to go. And also, renewing season tickets, they're expecting the supporters to do that, but we've currently got a manager in charge who isn't willing to commit to us for next season. So as a supporter, I'm not saying this is the right attitude, but it's a fair one, to say, well, if the manager and the board aren't willing to commit in terms of finances, the manager's not willing to sign a new contract, some of those lads are probably looking for the exit door. Why should I go and pay my hard-earned money? Because that's what it is. It costs a lot of money, as you say, to go and watch your football team play. Why should they commit in that way? But Nikita Jelavic, Mark, what's happened to Nikita recently? Or say recently, this season.
To be honest, the Reading game, I thought he had a bit about him. He had that chance first half as well. You can feel the whole ground willing him to get, even if it goes in off his arse, anything, just score. And you feel once he scores, that's it. He'll build on it. I thought he'd done all right. I think last Saturday. He works hard, but I've read people's articles and comments lately, and they're saying, well, we're not giving him the service. And I would say, although Jelavic has to take some of the blame because it's him who's not scoring goals, but his teammates around him, you think, well, they're not providing for him. Maybe last year we were providing more for him. Everything he seems to touch turned to gold when he first came. So again, expectancy level, you'd all think, wow, he's going to hit 20 goals this season. I wrote earlier before the season, I thought I'm looking forward to seeing him score. But then it's pressure, isn't it? You think, he scored against Villa. He got, got on the score sheet early on the season. Let's not forget, he scored 7 goals, and he could go on and score another 10. Now, at the moment, and the way he's been playing recently, and the chances started falling, so he just doesn't look at all likely, does he? There was more positive signs against Reading, but yesterday it was just back to how it's been in the last few months, hasn't it? And it's just lost in form. But let's not forget, he did go to Euros as well last summer. He joined Everton in January, didn't he? He eventually got in the team, and then had an excellent run of form, and then went away to the Euros and played a few games there. Scored up, I think, a couple. Then he's come back, and he started the season well. And you think to yourself, well, some players get burnout, don't they?
Maybe.
Is he shattered, or is he thinking, bloody hell, I'm the only one up front here. Moyes isn't giving me another partner to work with. I'm doing it all myself. And he finds himself in some frustrating positions because he's going to look for the ball, whereas he should just be getting in the positions, which he is great at. And our players, should be providing them. But I'm just hoping with Morales, he was okay yesterday. He's been good in recent weeks. I'm just hoping that them two can link up from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a few theories on this. I did a video last week on I did like a Goodison Park, a bit of a graveyard for strikers piece, looking back throughout the strikers of recent history. Some good theories on that. Fellaini has been accredited as a problem in this respect of the way he plays, and he plays just behind Jelavic, but he's more of a target man, and the emphasis is placed on him. I think statistically we've put in a lot more crosses this year, and we've got a lot of emphasis on that, with that linking up down that left hand side when they're actually together these days. Baines and Pinar, putting those balls across, that doesn't really suit Jelavic as much. I was reading a blog this morning that was talking about that, and there are a few theories around that. No one really particularly knows, but also the form that he was in last season was absolutely outstanding, and for us to expect that he can come in and continue that, I think statistically he was up there with some of the best strikers in Europe, for his actual attempts and how many of them were converted into goals. So for us to expect him to continue with that is maybe a bit of a tall order, but he seems like he's he's working hard. I know yesterday wasn't brilliant, but then again, no one was very, very, very good yesterday. So we won't pick on him too much for that one. But hopefully that'll change around, and maybe if we drop Fellaini back and maybe move Barkley in behind him or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head to freshen things up. That might work, and give him a little bit of someone a bit pacey behind him who can thread those balls in front of him, and he can latch onto them because he loves them, doesn't he? That's his bread and butter. So we'll see, mate. Talking about this season, though, just quickly to wrap this up. So this season and the long-term future, what's the rest of the season hold for Everton in your opinion, Mark?
I think we'll know by the end of March what's going to happen. Obviously, we can't predict the future, but I think going into that City game, I think we've got Arsenal in midweek, I think, in March, and then we've got the Stoke game before the derby. I just think the next few weeks will show whether they're going to have a go. You know what I mean? You need a massive kick up the arse after yesterday, and what a perfect day. You'd think, well, you'd rather have a bit at Goodison, for them to go out and prove themselves. So I'm just hoping they do next Saturday, and if they do, you think, well, hang on, they are going to pull the fingers out. But Everton, as we all know, they have a habit of building it up, so they may win every game in March and then lose every bloody game in April and fall away. But I think personally, I think we'll finish sixth. I don't think we'll finish fourth. I think we'll finish sixth where we are now. And as I say, I'm just hoping that we can pull our fingers out, because we can't afford any more really, because the other side are winning around us. So we just think a few more wins, and we'll finish there. I mean, that's obviously a Europa League place. But,
so sixth, is that before? Is that ahead or behind of Liverpool?
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's who takes us over. I can't see West Brom going above us, but if Liverpool are on the run, I mean, if they get a result today, I don't know whether they go 1 point or 2 points behind us, or even level. I haven't even looked at the table, but they've got momentum, haven't they, Liverpool, which is something we need to build in the next few weeks. Otherwise, they may leapfrog us. But I think we'll finish where we are now. I know we won't finish fourth. Whereas it's so disappointing, because at one point I thought, we're going to give this a real good go. But watching Spurs in fourth, I'm thinking, they're a model that we should use. But they've reinvested and they buy players, and they're going from strength to strength. I know Bale's done a lot for them, but I just think I'm jealous. I was jealous the other night when they're playing Inter Milan. I know it's Europa League, but they're battered Inter Milan. They're winning every game in the Premier League, and they look dead set for fourth. So I look at them and I'm envious. But I'm just hoping that we can finish as high up as possible. Finishing above Liverpool, really, it's just bragging rights, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no point in us finishing above them but not getting in the Europa League.
True.
We need Europa League, and of course, the higher you finish, the more money you get. But I think now, at the end of the season, it's going to be massive. Moyes' decision will be massive, but looking at the team, Fellaini will go. So the most important thing for me is who you're going to get to play in midfield alongside Darren Gibson, because Neville, Hitzelsberger, Neville's shouldn't play again. Hitzelsberger's not a long-term option. Osman's over 30, so maybe the likes of that Leroy Fair, if we did go back in for him, something to work alongside Gibson, a bit more foundation about the team, and someone up front with Jelavic for next year. But it's all ifs, buts and maybes, as we know.
It is, mate. Well, I appreciate your time again today. Obviously, we've done a little bit of analysing into what went wrong yesterday and what we think will happen going forward as well. But it's not the end of the world. We still don't know. Listen, there could be some investment that appears from somewhere. I think it's highly unlikely, especially being more aware of the wider financial situation of the world economy and things like that. It's very unlikely that someone's going to come in and plant a load of money within the club, or things are going to change up there. But they may still change, and everything might be rosy. David Moyes will re-sign, and we'll bring in a good few players and kick on.
It is not the end of the world, but it's just typical Everton, really. You can't help but feel down about what happened yesterday, but we could talk next month, and we're beating City, we've got a result, and we're going into the derby full of confidence, and then you'll feel a bit better about it. But really, everyone wants silverware. They saw the last few months and weeks have proved that we don't look like we're going to get fourth. So it was more emphasis on the cup, but then for that away from us again. It is a bitter pill to swallow, but it isn't all doom and gloom. You know, who knows? Even if Moyes does go and we get a new manager, you know, we get a few quid in for the likes of Fellaini, but it's about reinvesting it and then taking Everton. It'll be a new Everton then, rolling it under someone else. So, you know, who knows what the future holds? As I say, if we're talking a few weeks, we'll be able to maybe know how the season's going to end a bit more after the next few games.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Mark. Thanks for your time, then, mate. Appreciated.
Okay.
That was Mark. That was Mark from EFCFeelingBlue.com. Go to their website to check out all things Everton and get your Everton fix. So yeah, thanks for coming on today, Mark. Take care, mate.
Okay, no problems. See ya.
Bye bye.